Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun. The architect's prison. Daedalus was the greatest inventor of the ancient world. He was the Leonardo da Vinci of Greek mythology, a genius who could carve statues that looked alive and build machines that defied imagination. His most famous creation was the Labyrinth of Crete, a maze so complex that no one who entered could ever find their way out. He built it for King Minos to imprison the terrifying Minotaur. But King Minos was a paranoid tyrant. He feared that Daedalus might reveal the secret of the labyrinth to others. So, once the maze was finished, Minos threw Daedalus and his young son, Icarus, into a high tower overlooking the sea. The creator was now a prisoner of his own creation. For years they languished in the tower. Daedalus watched the ships of Minos patrolling the sea, blocking any escape by water. He looked at the soldiers guarding the roads, blocking any escape by land. But then Daedalus looked up. He saw seagulls soaring freely in the sky. He realized that while Minos controlled the earth and the water, he did not control the air. "The king may block my way by land and sea," Daedalus whispered to his son, "but the sky is open. We will go that way." Wings of wax and feathers. Daedalus set to work. He began to collect feathers. Some fell from birds flying past the tower. Others he plucked from birds he managed to trap. With the patience of a master craftsman, he laid out the feathers in order, from shortest to longest, mimicking the curve of a real bird's wing. He bound the larger feathers with thread and secured the smaller ones with wax. Icarus, just a boy, played beside his father. He chased the feathers that floated in the wind and molded the soft wax with his fingers, unaware that he was playing with the instruments of his own fate. Finally, the wings were ready. 2 massive pairs, one for the father, one for the son. Daedalus strapped the wings to his back. He flapped them gently and found himself hovering, suspended in the air. He had achieved the impossible, human flight. But before they launched, the father had a grave warning for his son. The golden mean. Daedalus called Icarus to him. His face was stern, his voice trembling with worry. "Icarus," he said, "you must listen to me. We are about to fly, but you must keep to the middle path." He pointed down to the crashing waves. "Do not fly too low. If you get too close to the ocean, the spray will soak your feathers. The wings will become heavy and they will drag you down." Then he pointed up to the blazing sun. "And do not fly too high. If you get too close to the sun, the heat will melt the wax that holds the feathers together. The wings will fall apart." "Fly the middle course," Daedalus repeated. "Follow me. Do not look at the stars. Look only at your father." Icarus nodded, his eyes wide with excitement. Daedalus kissed his son, a kiss that the ancient poets say was destined to be the last, and launched himself from the tower ledge. The flight. They dropped, caught the wind, and soared. Below them the farmers stopped their plowing. The shepherds leaned on their staffs. The fishermen cast their nets aside. They looked up in awe, seeing two figures flying through the heavens. These must be gods, they thought. Only gods can fly. For Icarus, the sensation was intoxicating. He was a boy who had known only a prison tower, and now he owned the sky. The wind rushed past his ears. The world below looked like a toy set. He felt powerful. He felt invincible. He looked at his father flying steadily ahead, keeping to the safe middle path. But safety felt boring. Icarus wanted more. He wanted to climb. He wanted to see how high he could go. He flapped his wings harder. He banked upwards, leaving his father's path. He soared higher and higher, aiming for the blue zenith, laughing with pure joy. The melting point. He climbed toward the sun. The air grew warmer. It felt pleasant at first, like a warm bath. But then it became hot. Icarus didn't notice the sweet smell of melting beeswax until it was too late. The sun, the god Helios, blazed down unforgivingly. The wax that held the feathers began to soften and drip. One feather loosened and fluttered away, then another, then a handful. Icarus tried to fly higher, but he felt a sudden loss of resistance. He flapped his arms frantically, but he was no longer beating wings against the air. He was just threshing his naked arms. The wings disintegrated. "Father!" he screamed. Daedalus heard the cry. He turned around, scanning the sky. "Icarus! Icarus, where are you?" There was no answer. Daedalus looked down at the sea. There, floating on the dark blue waves, were a few white feathers and the broken body of his son. The Sea of Sorrow. The boy fell from the heavens and drowned. The sea where he fell was named after him, the Aegean Sea. Daedalus descended. He retrieved the body of his son and flew to a nearby island to bury him. That island is called Icarus to this day. Heartbroken, Daedalus flew on to Sicily. He hung up his wings in the temple of Apollo, vowing never to fly again. He had conquered the laws of nature, but he had lost the only thing that mattered. The story of Icarus is the ultimate tragedy of hubris, excessive pride and ambition. It reminds us that while human ingenuity can take us to the stars, we must never forget our limits. The higher we climb, the harder we fall.